Hi, welcome to Manette's Kitchen. This is where my cooking brings different cultures together in celebration of friends and family. So we have lots of people come over and we spend a lot of time in this kitchen, and we love to gather and help cook. So people stand around and they'll often ask, well, how do you do that? What are you doing? And I'll say, just grab a knife and do it. That's the best way to learn. So I want you to join me in creating the veggie part of gung pao. So grab your knives and we're going to start chopping. So when I was little, I grew up in a Chinese household where all we did was cook Chinese food. So I did not know how to cook anything but Chinese food. And I'd come home from school and my mom would hand us our knives and my sisters and I would just start chopping. And our hands were little, so it took us pretty much all afternoon to chop all the food. Then my mom would do the stir fry, and we'd all sit around the table watching my dad, and he'd start sweating because he sweats when he eats. And then we would feel so good if he said, "Han hao," which means very good in Chinese. So I learned in cooking, it was all about pleasing the audience and anticipating that pleasure. So when I got married, I actually married an American. And our children are Hapa. We have 4 children, and they love to eat. And I found out that children are the easiest audience and the best audience, because all they say is, "Yummy, this is so good, give me more," which I love to hear. So of course, I just kept cooking more and more because they just wanted to have more. And I love to cook all different kinds of cultures, but because I married an American and because I'm Chinese, it was great to be able to take those 2 flavors and combine them. And my kids, I don't know if it was genetic or what, but they seem to crave both the Asian and the American flavors. So gung pao is my creation of the perfect combination of Chinese and American. And this particular dish has both the spicy and tanginess of a Chinese dish, but it also has this smooth texture of a pasta dish. So it goes down easy, and it's very warm and full of lots of love. So I just chopped up some veggies. I've got some water chestnuts, some fresh peppers, and some green onions. And we're going to do a quick stir fry. I've already done the chicken and the sauce and the pasta. And the great thing about this dish is that if you prepare all those things in advance, you can be visiting with your guests, and then at the very last minute, you can just throw everything into a big giant wok and warm it all up. So I'm going to do these veggies, but I'm not going to do them all the way. I'm just going to do a very light stir fry, very quick. So I'm going to warm up my wok here, and I'm going to use olive oil. Usually in Chinese cooking, you want to use peanut oil because it can reach a higher temperature. But in my cooking, I like to use olive oil because it is the highest in the monounsaturated fats, which is better for your heart. So that, again, is bringing in the Mediterranean culture, and it's my way of making it a little bit healthier. So I'm going to be using some olive oil. You want to warm up the olive oil. You don't want to use a whole lot. You don't need to use a whole lot. And then we're going to let it get hot. I'm going to add the veggies, and then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of water, and I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to let it steam. And when it steams, it actually keeps a lot of the nutrients in there, and it keeps the veggies really crispy. So we're going to have that nice little crunch in the dish. So now it's hot. And I'm going to be adding the water chestnuts and the peppers. You can put them in any order. A lot of people like to put the scallions in first, and as you can see, I used both the green part of the scallion and the white part of the scallion. And then you're going to want to toss them gently in the oil. I'm going to put a little fresh ground pepper. And then I'm also going to put a little bit of salt. Do another little toss. Keep it nice and easy. You hear it sizzling? That means it's doing its job. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of water. And I'm going to cover it up. And it's going to cook. You can see my wok is decades old. And one thing about a wok is that you never want to use soap on it. You want to just use water to clean it. And it keeps that very seasoned flavor to the wok, and it makes all your food continue to be really flavorful. So we're just going to cook it for a couple minutes, and then we're going to taste it, and hopefully it's going to be good. Oh, look at it. See, you want it to be really bright, and you want it to be nice and crispy because we're going to still cook it with the rest of the ingredients.